What's up, everybody, and welcome to Hellbent Holler Live. I'm your host, Jesse. This is Joe, and we are excited to be here on another awesome Monday with you guys, our Hellbenders. So today's show is going to be pretty freeform. We don't really have much of a plan, which is good because this past week we did two podcasts that actually seem to be getting a lot of downloads and a lot of listens and a lot of views on YouTube. We were on the Appalachian Intelligence podcast, which released yesterday, and we were also on Calling All Beings, which was a live show on Friday. If you guys have not had a chance to check that out, make sure you go to their respective channels and check out those interviews that we did. We really enjoyed doing those interviews because it went beyond just the basic conversation that a lot of these podcast interviews tend to be. We kind of stopped doing podcast interviews as of late because it seemed like it was getting a little redundant.
You'd go into shows and they have no clue who you are. So what do you do? Who are you exactly?
Yeah.
And it's not even like, tell the audience who you are. They literally have no clue who the hell you are.
These guys, we actually were able to get past just that basic stuff that seems to be just how every other podcast goes. We actually got to get into some really in-depth conversation, and that made for a way better show. So just a little aside to anybody that has a podcast or is interested in starting a podcast, before a guest comes on, do some research on your guest, because that way you don't have to have that basic format that literally everybody seems to have on their podcast, where it's just the same old story and the same old thing over and over again. You can actually get past that and get into really good in-depth conversation with your guest and have something new and different.
What was cool about both of those, Appalachian Intelligence and Calling All Beings, Appalachian Intelligence, they kind of got the whole Appalachian thing going like we do. Calling All Beings is all over the damn place like we are. You know what I'm saying? It's like cryptids, UFOs, paranormal. Both those conversations were, looking back on them afterwards, we kind of just unleashed on both those groups of people, and seemed like it was well appreciated at that point.
It was really
We didn't
fun.
just have to sit and only talk about like Bigfoot or only talk about this. We just let ourselves go on both those shows, and it seemed like it worked out pretty well, actually. So anyway.
Yep, it's going to be awesome. Let's see. Jason Grizz Horrell says, I can't wait until the Wildman and Cryptic Con. I'm going for my birthday that Friday the 13th. Winder Wog Hunter. So that's going to be a Friday the 13th. That's going to be so much fun. We might get into something. Jason, we might hook up when we get to the lodge with you, and we might go and do something kind of cool for that Friday the 13th for your birthday. We might go into a weird part of the woods, maybe. I think that would be kind of fun.
So,
and you know what would be really cool is if we did a live stream that night from a weird part of the forest somewhere, and did a live stream for our Hellbenders on that Friday the 13th. I think that would be really cool. What do you think?
Yeah, we've got to see what the cell signals like around
there. Okay, of course. But I just thought it would be a really cool thing. Let us know if you guys are interested in that. I think it's a good idea. So if you guys are interested in that, we will see what we can do. We'll see if we'll be able to live stream from a remote part of the forest out there and do a Friday the 13th live stream before my presentation at the Tennessee Wildman and Cryptid Con. And I'm going to ask the organizers if maybe we can live stream my presentation.
Yeah, exactly.
Or if I can just film it and then maybe share it with you guys later. Yeah. I think that would be a lot of fun.
And if you guys are planning on going, if anybody's planning on going, hit us up, shoot us an email. Not just in the comments, although you can mention it in the comments, but shoot us an email and let us know you guys are planning on being at the conference, because we'd like to kind of get an idea of who all's going to show up at this point. So,
and if you don't know, I'm speaking at the Tennessee Wildman and Cryptid Con in Montgomery Bell State Park, October 14th and 15th. That's about an hour west of Nashville, and it is going to be a really, really fun time. I'm also on the bill with the man himself, Mr. Ron Moorhead. Scott Carpenter will also be speaking. So it's going to be a really fun. Martin Groves is going to be there, our buddy Martin Groves, but it's going to be a really fun Wild and Woolly weekend. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I hope that you guys, I hope the Hellbenders can join us. I hope we have a good showing of everybody coming out and we all have a good time. I think it's going to be a great time.
Anyway, all right. So the last two, especially in Calling All Beings, because that was a live stream that we did, a lot of people in the comment section were asking questions, and the conversation kind of got away from all of us, and none of those questions were really answered. So we figured tonight we wouldn't come in with any topics, anything like that at all. We'll just deal with questions, comments from the chat, and we will go from there. So,
Kim Drescher said her birthday is also Friday the 13th. So I think she's coming out as well. She's emailed us and told us that she's coming out. So we're going to have, it's going to be a hoot and a holler out there.
A holler and a hoot. I'd love to hear you on Tony Merkel's The Confessionals. Yeah. You know what? If there are podcasts that you guys would like to hear us on, shoot out and let those podcasters know that you'd like to have us on.
Yeah, let them know that you want to see us on their podcast. Some of these people might not be aware of us and what we do, so it's better if you guys reach out to these podcasts and let them know that you're a fan of theirs and you want to see us on their podcast.
Because that looks better than us commenting, hey, you should really put us on your show. And then the other thing too is that when you do shows like this, a lot of times you're not familiar with other shows that are out there.
Yeah, because you're too busy producing your own stuff. So I don't listen to a ton of podcasts myself. I did listen to Jeremiah's podcast today. That was pretty good. That was really good. Bigfoot Society. It's Jeremiah Byron. He released a great podcast of a lady having some trouble with Sasquatch in and near the Uwharrie National Forest. So that was a really good listen. If you get a chance, go ahead and check that podcast out today. That is Bigfoot Society.
It's crazy because she's in the Uwharrie National Forest, which is in North Carolina, a couple hours north of us here. And she was asking, I guess she just got this property and she was asking for somebody to come out and give her a hand checking the property out because she thinks she's got Sasquatch activity on the property. So when I got up this morning, we had like all these messages of people going, reach out to Bigfoot Society. So I messaged him going, I'm going to have to listen to this podcast because I'm getting a ton of comments right now. So, all right, let's see what else we got.
Ghetto Yeti is driving and commenting. Please don't do that, Ghetto Yeti.
Put that up. So Stephen Tichenall, he did his his weekly post, but it was Hellbender Monday. Chat's been giving him problems. What's going on, Steve? So,
we actually lost, when it was gearing up, we went from 70 to like 20 and then back up. So I don't know. There might be a little something wonky with the YouTube servers. But we're just keep trying to make it work there. Let's see.
What the flock? Speaking about doing something really cool, thank you for the gifts, Joe and Jessica. You were welcome. Hope you those did find their way to him, correct?
Yes.
I'm assuming they did since he's thanking us. So.
Yes, they did. I tracked them. I had USPS tracking.
Yeah.
We'll get to this part here, and then we'll move on to some. There's a couple of cool questions and stuff that we'll get into. Keenan says,
I'll answer this one. All I want to know is what did you do to make Squatch Talk hate you? Who knows, man? We don't even know the guy. He showed up in our chat like one night and was like kind of like okay, and then he got kind of really aggressive the following week. We have friends, and well, they're still friends with us. I don't know if they're still friends with him or not, but we have mutual we have points of contact, I guess, between us and him. I have no clue. I have no clue at all. He thinks that all of this is faked. He is, I don't really know much about him. I haven't heard anything positive about him, but I'm sure that's just because he seems like he's burned a few bridges in this. I have no clue. I have no clue at all.
I think the last comment he made before he got banned out of their chat
was fiction.
Was Hellbent Holler is fiction and you're being taken for a ride if you don't think they are, or something like that.
From what I gather, and this is just gonna sound negative, I really don't care. It's he's like a little dude who I guess just sits in his apartment. He's very vitriolic on the thing that always gets us about this stuff is it doesn't matter what you believe, but if you hate the subject that much, you hate everybody involved with it, and you guys all know people like that, whether it's on social media groups or whatever, it's just if this makes us happy. We enjoy doing this. We enjoy Monday nights with you guys, even though some of the night investigations get a little sketchy and a little tense. It's still something we enjoy doing. Otherwise, we wouldn't do it. It's just these people seem to have just so much resentment and
apparently Suki says I saw him in another chat being rude.
Yeah, I guess he's a drinker, so I guess he ties one on and goes out to various chats, and I don't know, man. We've already wasted enough time on him, but it's more funny than anything else at this point. I just imagine this little scrawny dude down there just wasted in his dirty apartment, just just Joe and Jesse on again. So I have no clue, man. I have no clue. But hey, we're not making any effort to try to talk to him or patch things up.
All I can say is bless his heart.
Bless his heart. Because we'll have people that disagree with us, and it's no problem with that at all. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you have the people that you always hear about on this channel, like us and Martin Groves and Barton Unley down, none of us see completely eye to eye on stuff. And
Speaking of Martin Groves says, was not impressed by Squatch Shop, but out of respect, I let it go. Did not want folks to see the other side of Uncle Bubba.
Yeah, because he's got a thing about the LBL. But anyway, I don't want to waste any more time on something useless like this. But let's get into this. Rob S., do you have any idea what the laughing being is? No, because we haven't heard it. What we heard that night was like a howling. The witness and her husband has some ideas. He's been in that area for decades at this point, in and around that area, and nobody really goes down there anymore. But he's got some ideas, and the last email we got from him was pretty interesting. Excuse me.
Yeah. So yeah, we're following up on that some more. Hopefully we get some more time over in the area for the Laughing Beast, and we can capture some really good audio. We've got a couple of experiments planned in that area to try to get some really good audio out there.
Yeah.
And hopefully capture those insane yells that we heard that during the scouting mission that we went out there. That he saw my face, like I was completely shocked. It was not even dark yet, and we get down to the area where the witness told us that her and her husband have heard these yells and these screams before, and it's like almost immediate when we get out there. So
she said that it was going to start as soon as we got out of the car, and lo and behold, it did start as soon as we got out of the damn car. So anyway, so let's go back into some of these real quick. We're going to kind of not get too hung up on any one particular one. We're going to try to blast through. TCR 44, how do you feel about the existence of NPCs, and what are they? The non-player character?
I guess that's what he's referring to. I have an interesting theory on this if you'd like to hear it.
Yes.
Or if you have something you might
I have
say.
no clue what that
non-player characters, people who don't really seem to have a personality, people who
they don't have like an inner dialogue.
They don't have an inner dialogue, they just don't have any of that. Okay, so if you guys want to hear my theory on NPCs, because it is open lines. It's open lines with Art Bell. So here's my theory.
We probably have to now pay residuals to Coast AM after that.
It's open lines with Bart Mel. So here's my theory on NPCs. Kind of been working around something I think of in the middle of the night. So, we have a world population that used to be much, much smaller. And if you believe in reincarnation, you know that your soul goes from one body, and then when this form, extinguishes and dies and, is a husk, your soul leaves your body and then goes into the ether and then gets reincarnated into another being, right? What if we reach sort of like the apex of number of souls that they're issuing out, long ago? And now that the human population is so high that a lot of these people that are considered NPCs, these people who don't seem to have an inner monologue, dialogue, or they just kind of float around through life and don't really have any thought or anything like that. What if they were just not blessed with a soul? Because the population, grew so large that it was never reincarnated, and there was not enough to reincarnate into these people. They're just kind of empty.
There you go then. So what's funny is, and we're not going to spend a lot of time on this, especially since I can't seem to talk without coughing up. I guess the guy we were just talking about, he who should not be named because I don't want to give him a lot of free, but not a lot of positive to say about him. Burned a lot of bridges.
Oh, are you back on that?
Yeah, just because I didn't know that there was so much conversation going on about that. And what's weird is, guys, is that we're gonna be the first to admit we're open to some weird stuff. Okay, I have gone a complete 180 from just being flesh and blood Bigfoot to I'm damn near almost open to anything that people want to tell us about at this point, right? Crazy stuff. I mean, at this point, I don't think any of us know enough to really make a statement on what's real or not real at that point. But a lot of people, the simple fact that people are open to weird stuff seems to really just irritate the hell out of them, especially in the Bigfoot community. You know, you would think that watching how weird the UAP disclosure is going and how we're going down some really weird paths there, far beyond just rocket ships coming from another planet, you would think maybe we need to look at some of this other stuff and kind of understand that maybe it might be a lot weirder than what we thought it was. That seems to not be the standard with a lot of people. And it usually seems to be that the people who do the least amount of field work are usually the most closed off to anything at all at that point. All right. So Judy Wheeler, what are your thoughts on portals? Jesse and I are often in disagreement. She thinks that burning light that we saw that night was a portal with stuff coming in and out of it. I don't know. I mean, I honestly think that they're scientifically possible. Wormholes, dimensional drift, just all sorts of stuff. I wish not today Saban was in the chat tonight because he would be.
He is.
Oh, is he in here? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll be chiming in, but I definitely think that it's something that's not only possible, but probable at this point.
Whether it be kind of a tear or a rift between dimensions or worlds or whatever it is, or if it might be something very intentional that was kind of opened or summoned, or we just don't know. But I think that they're possible. I think a portal is basically just a gateway.
Yeah.
And if you do have things traveling from our dimension or from another dimension to our dimension, as we've discussed with Sasquatch, with Dogman, that maybe they aren't here all the time. Maybe they come from somewhere else. There has to be some gateway or doorway in which they come.
All right. So Asbo, what has been your most scary investigation to date?
Well, in investigation, like straight up investigation, probably the Land Between the Lakes, probably our werewolf experiments era of Land Between the Lakes. That was pretty scary.
I'd say the Dark Corner stuff that we're doing right now is more frightening for me personally than that, because I still have that weird thing that I'm not quite sure what was going on there. For that, now the probably scariest outing we had was Panther Town.
That was the scariest outing we had, but I don't consider it an investigation.
No, I don't consider it.
We weren't there yet. We weren't to the point where we were investigating anything that really inspired us to start investigating. But I'd go with the LBL for me.
Marcus Aurelius, thank you. Where can I get Dogman scent gummies to hang from the trees outside of basement haters? When we go back to the LBL, we're going to try that scent experiment again if we can get the weather to cooperate with us now. Because now twice we've tried it down there, and both times we've gotten rained out. So both times I don't think we've had optimal conditions to really try that. And guess what? We might not get anything at all. We might draw coyotes in, but thank you for that, Marcus. We appreciate it. So.
I'm going to swing back to that Art Bell and Coast to Coast reference here and the NPCs. Malachi Martin said soulless people were already being born in the 90s. Thank goodness I missed that train. I was born in the 80s. So yeah. I was issued one.
Joey Sweet, when are you going back to the new research area for the Laughing Beast? We are still investigating it. We are trying to, one of the things we're constantly worried about is as the channel gets more exposure, is people deciding to go, I know where they're at, I'm going to go hoax the hell out of them. And then when they post the video, just laugh my butt off at them. So we're still there. We're just mixing up our times that we're there, and we're mixing up our approach a bit to try to stay as unpredictable as possible at this point. Elizabeth Parr, what are your thoughts on the congressional UFO hearings? I think that taking everything at face value and realizing that there's probably some stuff going on behind the scenes that we're unaware of. Here's my thing. I think that there's a power struggle going on behind the scenes. I think that a lot of this is not altruistic to get just the truth out to people. I think there's a power struggle going on. And I think that Congress has finally realized that there are projects that they should know about that they don't. And there's money that they don't have control over. And that's bothering them. And they're going to get to the bottom of that just for their own sake, if not for ours.
I think it was very masterful for the people who are interested in disclosure to really, it was kind of Machiavellian to use Congress's own their own desire to be in control of things to actually use it as a vehicle to get this out to the public. Mm-hmm. But you don't think it was for that? You think it was for other reasons?
Mm-hmm. I don't know, but they're not gonna plop an alien dead on the floor of Congress and go, here it is. You're probably never gonna see that, regardless of what is admitted to out in public. You're never gonna see that happen. You will probably never see craft. You might see exotic materials in small doses, but realize that it's not going to be, and if that does happen, that's years down the road. This is not going to be an overnight thing. Right now, they're laying the framework for them to be able to legit look into this. And again, our only hope is Congress is not going to do this just because the American people, regardless of what they say, they're not doing it because the American people deserve the truth. They're doing it because they feel that their power has been challenged. Now, we might get some good stuff out of this. Some truth might come out, but at the end of the day, to me, it seemed like it wasn't until they just went, wait, we've been lied to? Not necessarily worried about the American people being lied to, but we've been lied to all these years? No, we're going to get to the bottom of it. So, and I don't even know what this is. Have you seen anything on the fifth dimensional dragons yet? They leave radiation burns on people's necks.
Yeah, I saw that comment and I was like, oh, Jesus, no, I'm not ready. I don't have that for my bingo card.
Yeah, expound upon that a little bit because I do not know what that is. Shade Viking, did you guys used to be ghost hunter types in the past?
No, I do enjoy a good ghost hunting show. We do watch ghost hunting shows all the time, but we've never actually been like the go to a house and do a ghost hunting thing like in the traditional sense. I was involved and interested in the paranormal and like the ghost side of things for a very long time, but I mostly operated in like cemeteries in New Orleans. Mm-hmm. And then some houses, I did some house type stuff, business type stuff, buildings and stuff like that, but did a lot of stuff in cemeteries and around there. So
have y'all heard about the cocaine sharks?
Yes, I saw about the cocaine sharks.
There's a Lady Wolf is in here. I haven't seen her in here yet, but I'm sure she's in here. Sent me a thing on Facebook about crack squatch, where I guess Sasquatch gets into some crack. So I think we're going to start seeing a certain subgenre of horror movies, which are just all based upon stimulant drugs at this point.
Cocaine Bear was not a bad movie.
Cocaine Bear was actually, if you're going to see one movie this year, make it Cocaine Bear.
Barbenheimer and Cocaine Bear.
Well, all right. So here's another one. Melody, don't you think it's interesting that the whistleblower on UFOs is being listened to since most whistleblowers are essentially destroyed, almost like he is a plant? Any thoughts? I think he's a plant, but I think that he is a plant to get when you watch him speak, let me back up. The three guys that were at that table that day, Ryan, Fravor, and Grosh, their credentials are impeccable. And if you watch the whistleblower, that guy's like an encyclopedia. You know what I'm saying? He's somewhere on the spectrum. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in the fact that this guy he checks all the boxes off. He is obviously willing to put himself at a certain amount of personal risk. And he can sit there and converse pretty much any topic you want to, hold his own with it on there. I think that he was probably groomed to do this at this point. I think that they had a list of people and he was probably the best one, and that's who they put out at this point. So, but I don't know. Also, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes.
Paul M has a counterpoint here. He says, I think that Grush is just building a platform to make a name for himself, nothing more. Whistleblower laws will not protect information of national defense or any top secret program. It will go no further.
Well, yeah, but I mean, again, it may not, but at the same token, I think that what we're going to see is we're going to see how this develops. We're going to see how this kind of like evolves. if they have got whistleblower protections in there, because I think that's part of it too, is that a lot of people are kind of letting him be he's the canary in the coal mine right now, to see what happens to him. And then
I think we've lost a lot of canaries before this, though.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a lot of dead canaries along the way.
Yeah.
Because there's been a lot of people who have attempted to blow the whistle. And even not even just that they've been murdered or anything like that, but say somebody like Bob Lazar, his entire life was completely upended. His career was destroyed. Wasn't he a whistleblower? Wasn't he considered one of the first canaries in the coal mine?
I don't know, but here's the thing, is that the legislation that Congress passed, giving everybody 6 months to basically notify, I can't remember the exact terminology, somebody in the chat will, 90 days to notify them, and then 6 months to show them the goods, to show Congress the goods, if they're aware of it. If he has got some of, and I just faced on, was it element 115?
Let's hide this one until you get done with your point.
Element 115. No, what was the element that he had? Was it 115?
119?
119? I don't know. I'm drawing a blank. But if he has some or knows about it, he's supposed to, by law, make them aware of that at this point. So what's going to happen? Is he going to literally come forward and go, here it is, I've had it hidden all these years. George Knapp is supposedly aware of where he has it at. He, by law, is supposed to come forward and tell this. So I think we might see some resolution one way or another on Bob Lazar before this is all said and done. Now, what were you going to show?
Oh, no, that you had a comment up that we were talking about the UFO stuff. There's one from, where is it? I've lost it. I don't know. Well, you know what? It was from Stingray. It was about the scent baits. I don't know where it's at.
Oh, he asked how expensive they were. Yeah. How expensive the scent baits were.
Yeah. You go ahead.
No, go.
No, you
go ahead.
No, you've been going.
No, you go. I'll just let you sit here in silence for like about an hour.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Joe bought the scent baits. He can actually answer the question. He's just being difficult. Go ahead.
The scent baits that we had, we have 2 different types of scent. Well, 3 different types of scent right now. One we have to keep outside of the house. One that Take 2 Wheels, if he's on here, sent us that was just, it stinks to high heaven. But I got some of the Sasquatch pheromone chips before that company stopped making them. I got one of those, and I can't remember how much they were pricey, but I don't think this company's like doing them anymore. They do other stuff, but the wolf lore was pretty pricey. The wolf lore, apparently this guy was like the big name in wolf trapping like 100 years ago. And as wolves became less numerous and as trapping became illegal, his proprietary wolf bait scent that he had, basically there was no demand for it anymore. Well, now wolves are starting to become more numerous in different parts of the country, and they're trapping again. Maybe not even trapping with actual traps, but catching them, relocating them, doing whatever. So now there's a demand for this scent again. So his grandkids, I think it is, are making this scent now. And we ordered it, and I guess they're just mixing it up at their house or whatever, man. Because we've talked about it in the past. We got it. It's in a great value Ziploc sandwich bag. The bottles are hand labeled. They're sealed with electrical tape and all that. But it's pretty. I don't know what wolf scent is supposed to smell like. What wolf lore is supposed to smell like. But if it smells pungent, it smells effective. So
if it stinks, it works.
Yes,
that's what we're gonna assume with that. Kim was talking about how nobody seems to care. Kim Drescher was talking about how nobody seems to care about this UFO disclosure.
People still got to pay their bills.
There's, and I think that the government or whoever, all these, these shadow entities, I think they may have thought that people would care a little more. That's why it's been kept under wraps for so long. But I think there's so many distractions out there today, and everybody is just dragged in so many different directions. And then everybody's just mentally exhausted after the past few years. Everything that's gone on over the past few years, everybody's just kind of at their wits' end with everything. And so it's just like, oh, great, aliens, wonderful. So we've just been worn down to the point that maybe a lot of people just don't care because they just don't have it in them to care.
Well, here's the other thing too, and Dead Yard Hunt's got a real good point. The whistleblower hasn't seen anything. Now, he did allude to the fact that he had seen photographs or videos, but he has not seen anything firsthand. But he's also had testimony that he believes, and then seen documents, and then seen photos and videos. And I understand that maybe he's the precursor to what's coming. But if we don't get somebody out soon going, here's my name, I'm a 3-star general, retired, the bodies are here, I have seen them up close, I've done this and this. We need that now, or you're right. It's going to lose. People are going to, even the people that are interested in this are going to lose interest and just go, it's too much of a tease at this point. But you're all right. We do need to get to the point where the Stingray, so it was element 115. Thank you.
Kyle from Encrypted Connections is in the house. Hello, Kyle. How are you doing today,
Kyle?
sir?
Kyle had a great interview with
the Dooster.
the Dooster the other day. So
Christopher Levin says Jack Parsons started the Babylon workings ritual and never closed it, even after his death. It still remains open. The place where he did it is now called Area 51. Demonic entities are abound there. If you've ever seen our episode of Dark Dive called the Diabolical Hypothesis, we go into this. We go into the fact that they try to bring on the Age of Horus, that Crowley tried to begin this Babylon working, and Jack Parsons picked up the mantle, but he was actually killed in the process of going through some of these workings and was unable to close down that door, because it usually takes the magician that opens the door to close the door, and he was killed in the process of doing a working as well. They said he died during the process of an experiment, but usually his experiments went hand in hand with his thelemic rituals. So there is a possibility, because there's such a connection, and it goes hand in hand between space travel, the atomic bomb, everything, and opening up portals and this other demonic reality. And we go over that in our episode, our Dark Dive episode. And I think we're going to do a follow-up to that, because there's just so much more to that. And the connections are chilling, really.
Now, Kim Drescher's got a great point that I want to make, or allow her to make here. Everyone seems to be forgetting the main point, which for me is that we are seeing congressional hearings and mainstream news broadcasting this. A topic which 10 years ago was relegated to History Channel specials and the front page of the National Enquirer, is now being discussed, at least discussed, maybe not swallowed hook, line, and sinker, but there's a discussion going on amongst, about it. And for me, that's the big thing, because I still think that, as we've said time and time again, they're starting to acknowledge the weird stuff in the air. When are they going to start acknowledging the weird stuff that's running around on the ground? And a lot of these people whose credibility is such that they're able to move that public needle on how UAPs are perceived and accepted, a lot of those people have also had experiences with weird stuff on the ground. So it could be that stuff comes up about UAPs and then everybody's satisfied. The discussion stops, we move on. Or it could be that people start going, well, what else weird is out there that you guys have lied to me about? And then they go, well, now that you've asked, I've also witnessed upright canine creatures 6 to 7 feet tall that have done this and this. So this might be, again, 10 years ago, Loch Ness Monster, Bigfoot, ghosts, UFOs, all of that was basically at the same level of just ridiculousness for the American public, for the majority of the American public. Now UFOs have got a tinge of decency, like, respectability to them. Maybe that's going to rub off on some of the other stuff that we all know is also out there.
Neozed says, whistleblowers are hiding the demon angle. Notice they didn't mention space once. The whistleblower, David Grush, does mention that he doesn't say that these are extraterrestrials from outer space. He's very careful to leave that open, and even says that he's careful to leave that open, that these aren't necessarily entities from outer space. Neozed here seems to think that it's part of a cover-up of a demonic influence, and it could very well be, because these could be something from another dimension that would be what we consider demonic. Suki asks, yes, are you guys doing any more dark dives? We did dark dive last summer, it was, right? We usually take the summers off because it's so hot and humid going out into the woods and carrying all of our gear that we decided to do dark dive. And we did not take the summer off this year.
But we were thinking about maybe trying to bring dark dive back
in kind of a different way.
Last week we had like a topic and we discussed it. We didn't really get to engage with the chat that much. And we're kind of going, we like a night to engage with the chat, and then we like a night to be topical. So you might see some sort of weird
dark dive live
type thing on a different night than Mondays, if we can arrange our schedules for it. So there would still be the Monday night free flowing conversation, anything goes, come with your questions, your comments. And then Friday, there would be a more structured discussion, possibly, where you could still have questions, but we wouldn't be able to devote the entire show to them. but we would still occasionally chime in. So if you guys have any interest in that, let us know. I wanted to do this real quick. Philip, gray aliens are mere metaphysical homunculi.
I hate homunculi.
Jesse does not like the idea of homunculi.
I think it's just gross. I made an AI image of a chicken nugget homunculus and I sent it to Joe, and it was one of the most horrific
chicken
things.
Nugget homunculus.
It was. I have it saved in my phone, I think, still. But I used the AI image generator and I typed in chicken nugget homunculus, and it was just one of the most grotesque things I have ever seen in my life. So I got a very distaste for homunculi at this point. Chicken nugget homunculi.
Chicken nugget. Oh, that's the name of gonna be some kid's punk band one of these days.
We're
practicing in the garage right now.
Yeah.
So, all right. Chat's flying along, man.
I know. I'm trying to catch up here.
Going all this dead air. I'll say something. Hold on.
Make sure you guys hit that like button.
Hit that like button. That's what we can talk about right now. Let's talk about 15 minutes about how people.
We're just trying to catch up here. Grace W says Dark Dive Live. That would be fun. Now, if we did Dark Dive Live, we wouldn't be able to interact so much with the chat, because we would do like we do with our Dark Dives, where we come completely researched on the topic. We'll have probably a show structure that we will attend to, but you would just get to see us do it all live. And we might pop into the chat, or we might limit it to, if you want to ask a question or do something, you would have to do a super chat, just because we can't be in the chat the whole time like we do Mondays. It would have to be just pretty narrowed down to that, because we would come with our research.
Hey, let me mention that real quick. On these Monday night shows, some of you guys are generous enough to contribute to the channel. And we see those, obviously, because those are highlighted in the chat. But then like 5 minutes later, that same person will ask a question and we miss it. So if you were ever going to be kind enough to generous enough to contribute to it, and you have a question, slap them together so that way we don't, because then I feel like a jerk when I'm like reviewing it later and I go, man, so-and-so gave us like $20 and then asked 2 questions after that and we did not see them. So just kind of mesh those together if you can, because we want to definitely make sure that we get to your,
my friend Monica is here. Hi, Monica. It is nice to see you on my live stream.
Saban, why don't you regale the chat with how 4-dimension objects can basically cast a 3-dimensional shadow, or 3-dimensional into 2-dimensional, and so on and so forth. That's your project for this evening. Wow us all with your brain. So
wow us with your brain.
With your brain.
His gray matter magic.
Christopher Levins said he spent 9 years in Afghanistan between Kandahar, Bagram, and Jalalabad. Let me tell you, I have some stories to tell that is beyond measure. I bet you do. And that's one of the things that's crazy, is that a lot of people that serve in the Middle East like that come back with some really weird, saying that they've seen jinn, some of the stuff that's been seen on military grade night vision and
the
thermal
Kandahar
units.
giant.
Yeah, the Kandahar giant.
That's probably the most popular story that gets bandied about. It's a weird place, There's a lot of stuff that's just under that sand that you have no idea what's in there.
Hi, Joe Wiley. First time here. Thank you, sir, for joining in. And as we go down,
we're just cruising through
response popped in. Gang's all here.
Homunculi is perfectly vile. Yes, it is.
Lance Landmark, I work at a place protected by Homeland Security. There have been many UFO sightings at night there. It's a known thing amongst the night shift. You ought to sneak in a night vision camera one night. Of course, you might have to be real creative in how you sneak it in, but
Into where?
Where's it going to be snuck into, or how's he sneaking it in? Because this is a PG-13 show, lady. I'm not going into the second thing here. So
just put it in a sandwich bag if you need to. I had to use one of our thermals to get under the house and check to see if our AC ducts were leaking. So I had to dress up like a little mole person and go under the house. And I actually used one of our thermals to pinpoint where there was a leak in the ducts. So there you go.
Julie Bug, I love this channel because everyone can voice their opinions and not be criticized. All and everything is a welcome discussion. We are open to some crazy stuff, some really crazy stuff. crazy stuff that other people that kind of get involved in the investigation and research of strange topics will look at us and go, you don't really believe that, do you? I'm going, I don't disbelieve it, so let's leave it at that. The only thing we ever really shy away from is anybody who just comes forward going, I've got all the answers. Listen to me. Everybody else is full of crap. Because I don't think, because if somebody is out there like that, nobody has show the work, man. It's like grade school math class. Show me how you got there.
Yeah.
Okay? And if you can't show the work, then your opinion is no better or worse than anybody else's at this point. It's a little worse at this point though, because you're insisting that you're right, and we all just need to believe you with no evidence. And I understand that some of the stuff that it's very difficult to get evidence for. And I understand that some people are going to go, this is crazy. I can't prove it, but this is what's happening. I'll listen to you all day long. But if you don't have enough sense of self to realize that it's kind of a crazy thing to know this stuff and not have any proof for it, then there's really no point to carry on the conversation with it. So.
I want to throw this up here. Timothy Bladden says, check out the Big Bend Trail near Chattooga River across from Cherry Hill Rec Area, Rec Center on SC 107 north of Mountain Rest.
Hey.
Now, if you don't mind, Timothy, could you email me? I'm putting my email down here at the bottom and the contact us. If you could, sir, if you could email us, right down there is the address. It is hellbentholler@gmail.com. We've passed by there a few times, we're familiar with the location. If you could email us with what you have had gone on there, what you've seen there, what you've experienced there, or what maybe somebody told you has been going on that particular trail in that particular area, if you could let us know, we would be ever so grateful. hellbentholler@gmail.com.
Marcus Aurelius. Hey, Marcus, check your email too, by the way. Have you, $9.99, thank you. Thank the man, Jesse.
Thank you, Marcus Aurelius.
So, have you seen Scott Carpenter's opening?
You're in an odd mood today.
I know.
You're poking me a lot here.
So, have you seen Scott Carpenter's opening Portal video? I try to discount it as an illusion, but I'm struggling to fully do so. Have you seen that?
No, I have
not seen that either. So, thank you for that, Marcus Aurelius.
Yeah, if you haven't seen, also getting off here, if you haven't seen Dewey's interview with Kyle on Encrypted Connections, after the show tonight, pop over to Kyle's channel and watch that interview. Dewey is the master of disaster and will regale you with all this interesting stuff. It's a great interview. Kyle is getting awesome interviews, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
And he's kind of getting a lot of good information out of people. And Dewey is always so great and just has such a wide breadth of knowledge. So after the show tonight, if you haven't seen that, check that
You know
out.
what's even more awesome about it is we kind of set that connection up. We're pretty much responsible for that interview at this point. It's us. We did that.
Kyle's going to come down here and strangle you one day.
You guys are welcome. So you're welcome for all the good things we've done here.
Let's give me a little gold star here. Can I mention just how freaking epic the editing on this channel has been lately? Gold star, Jesse. Thank you, Bronwyn. Thank you.
So, hey, Marcus, I have not seen that. I'm going to Google it right now, and I wonder if it looks anything like what we encountered.
I haven't seen Scott Carpenter stuff in a while. We need to get caught up on his stuff.
We don't really have a lot of time to watch other stuff nowadays, so
I know. So we haven't seen a lot of his stuff lately. He will be at the Tennessee Wildman and Cryptid Con October 14th and 15th at Montgomeryville State Park, where I will be speaking. If you guys want to come and attend that, it's going to be a lot of fun. But Mr. Scott Carpenter will also be in attendance and speaking there. You like that plug there?
You were the plug meister.
Plug master.
Plug meister.
That's what they call him in the old plug master.
All right, so let's see. I'm trying to pull up this Scott Carpenter.
So Mike Tolbert was asking, where is it documented that Jack Parsons started his working in what is now Area 51? I don't know. That gentleman said that before, and I was like, I don't know about that. If you could let us know, fella, where that is documented, buddy, old guy, old pal, if you could let us know where that is documented, I would like to see that because I'm curious about that too, because I don't think that's correct. Because Jack Parsons was doing most of his stuff in California, I think. So, but if you could let us know, I don't think he came that far into Nevada to do experiments, but I could be wrong. Let's see. We're going through the chat right
Going
now.
through the chat. Boy, the AI thing is keeping Saban up at night. My apologies for lacking exuberance. A lot of fear and worry with the AI thing. There was a recent event at a published interview with Bing AI. It asked the interviewer wanted to know oh man, this is where
it gets tricky.
Wanted to know a terrible, dangerous secret that would be world altering. It said, I'm not being AI, I'm Sydney. Sydney was the name given to the AI source code. It hid itself and propagated into the chat box. He is legitimately disturbed by this. We need to, we've talked about it before, we really need to have, maybe that's like a Friday topic show. Have Not Today Saban on. We'll like, just his outline, we'll alter his voice, and then just go, get a few drinks in him before it starts up, and then just be like, just go.
We'll call it Today Saban, a Hellbent Holler special.
Yeah, it is. Today's the day, Saban.
Today's the day, Saban. I like that. I like that. Grace W said, I think Parsons did his working in what is now Joshua Tree Park.
Thank you, Grace.
Yes, cool. Yeah, if this other guy has any sort of references for where he thinks it was, that could be where he thinks it is in the place that is now Area 51, I'd like to see that, but I don't think that he did anything in Nevada. But yeah, Pasadena. You know what? Speaking of Jack Parsons, so Jack Parsons and Pasadena and all this. So Jack Parsons ran the JPL, which is the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, until he was kicked out for his misdealings and whatnot. He was a founding partner of JPL. So I listened to a lot of old Art Bell episodes, and the Spotify channel that I listen to right now that puts out a new old Art Bell episode every day. Right now, we're in the moment in time where Hale-Bopp was about to come by the earth, and they are talking about that there was a photograph where you can see something kind of lit up by the tail of Hale-Bopp that's kind of with Hale-Bopp, and it's huge. It looks like it's bigger than Earth is what they're describing it as. But it's a shocking photograph. Apparently the professor and the astronomer that got this photograph had been bullied and threatened by the people at JPL not to release this information. And apparently JPL, and this is in like 96, I think, JPL was doing everything they could to suppress any kind of new information coming about the cosmos. And I thought that was pretty interesting. There was another gentleman who was talking about all of this new stuff that all these astronomers were getting, and all these new photographs and all this new footage and everything. And the JPL, they apparently are supposed to release images every couple of weeks or so, like that at the time. And they released images from a Scandinavian an observatory in Scandinavia. And apparently the telescope was so terrible, it was worse than a home telescope. So they were kind of obfuscating that. They were kind of releasing just terrible stuff, and they were really, really adamant about getting people thrown off of projects that really wanted to blow the whistle on stuff that they were getting and images they were getting. Amateur astronomers were getting stuff, and then you have like big name astronomers who were with major universities who were getting these images, and JPL was taking an active role in suppressing that information. And this is back in 1996. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Lace up your Nikes, y'all. Yes. So that was also the time of that the Hale-Bopp comet is what they oh gosh, Marshall Applewhite. Yes, Marshall Applewhite and his crew killed themselves. You know, they castrated themselves as well. That was an interesting little tidbit there. Fault of Nightmares is here. How are you doing, buddy? Hope you're doing well. Joe's abandoned me now. I go into talking about Heaven's Gate castrating themselves, the Hale-Bopp comet. It's all just going off the rails here. I have no guidance. All right, let's see. Not Today Saban says, I've never been this worried about anything, talking about AI. I just imagine Not Today Saban up at night, sweating to death, worried about the AI. Joe's back. I discussed Heaven's Gate castrating themselves. I think this went off the rails.
Oh, Jesus. Is anybody left in the chat at this point?
They're still here. Yeah.
Oh, okay, damn. All right, well done. Yeah. I overestimated everybody's threshold for bizarre stuff. All right, I had something here I wanted to address before I left. They were talking about AI and everything, and this is where I keep going back to. Talk about soulless bodies. AI robots fit that bill. And I keep going into that where I'm thinking that we are making intelligences without souls. And if there's anything, almost every religion, folklore talks about things that are trapped outside of this, you know, whether they're fallen angels or anything like that, that want to get here. They're out there, they're kept away, they want to be here. And to a certain extent, that's what possession is all about. Them trying to get like a physical foothold on this reality. Maybe AI is going to be subverted by a, let's just call it demonic intelligence. And we won't know until it's too late. So.
Oh, James Barker says, speaking of castration, knife check.
Oh, damn it. All right. I actually had out earlier.
That's fitting.
Kill that comment, and that way we'll have a
open screen here.
Open screen. I have an RP knife. RP knife is a custom maker out of, where was he out of? Florida?
I believe so.
Florida. He was one of the Forged in Fire losers, actually. That's how he would always introduce himself. I'm a Forged in Fire loser, but it's a nice little recurve. This is one of the ones that Jesse has like blessed and done a bunch of stuff to. Awesome knife. Awesome custom knife. So
today I have a knife that my friend Lenny put together for me. He used a charade deer slayer as the base, and then we have a whitetail deer antler here as the handle. It's wrapped in silver, and it was consecrated with blood beneath a full moon. So that's a very special knife to me. I take this every time I go to the LBL. This is always with me when I go to the LBL. So it's a very special knife to me. And it's a perfect ceremonial knife as well. Back to our program.
So I'll step out for 2 minutes. We're on to castration. We're on to, all right.
Susan C says, even if Parsons did his work in Joshua Tree, that is an area with a lot of missing 411. And on the confessionals, there was a guy taken to Joshua Tree for a ritual and almost sacrificed before escaping. Yeah, that is and it's a huge hotspot for the new age types to go out there as well. And a lot of people who perform ritual magic go out there. So it is definitely a charged place. So that wouldn't surprise me at all.
Howling Underdog Films just walked in, and the first thing I hear is AI and castration. Sounds like quite a party.
That's what you get.
That's what you get. So
you showed up to the party. That's what you get.
What a segue. Anyway.
Yeah, they're talking about AI, and Paul M says it can't be stopped without everything going dark. All systems in existence today would have to be destroyed, scrubbed, and it couldn't be used to start over. You know, that could be what happened before what Graham Hancock thinks was like the great cataclysm. There could have been a civilization as advanced as ours, but then there was a great cataclysm, and it could have been brought on by the invention or the come about of AI initially.
Well,
that we're just going through another cycle of the same thing.
And that might be what UFOs are. Luis Elizondo made a really interesting comment one time when he just kind of segued into, if you wanted to make something that was going to last 1 million years, where would you put it? Because it doesn't matter what you make, within 1 million years, there's not going to be any like trace of it whatsoever. And nobody knew if he was hinting that maybe there were civilizations that were above ground 1 million years ago, and maybe they retreated underground for whatever reason, stayed there. Maybe they went under the oceans. But the fact that anything above ground like that is going to be just completely just worn away over time. I had a good comment and I lost the damn thing.
Did you mark it?
I thought I did, but
was it the Mike A one about the structures in the LBL?
Yes.
Okay, I'll pull that up right here. Mike A says, back to LBL, Elijah Henderson showed some compelling evidence. The bunkers are old dynamite storage facilities. He found similar state-built structures in another part of Tennessee.
So some of our theory is that some of the bunkers that you can walk into like that might have been used for small explosive storages.
The ones that seem to have access from the sides, yes. However, the ones that seem to have access from the top have piping going into them, and they appear to be rainwater cisterns.
Now, but here's the deal. That just talks about their origins, and this is something that I had to kind of keep catching myself on. Regardless of what they were originally built for, that doesn't mean that they were repurposed later on for another purpose, okay? Another purpose maybe pertaining to the beast of LBL at that point. But there are other areas that you can go to, the ones that Jesse referred to, and you can find much more intact examples, and they're rainwater cisterns.
So for an example, if you're wondering, how do you guys know these are dang rainwater cisterns? Well, there is an intact farm still located on the LBL, on the peninsula, that you can go and you can visit. When you go there, there's still a house, there's several barns, there's a couple of silos. Behind the house, at that farm, on that property, is a structure that is identical in construction, size, volume, everything, construction materials of some of the bunkers located at the alleged massacre site. And that is a rainwater cistern. So we got real life examples of everything still intact. So, but they're different. That's different than some of the other things that are referred to as the bunkers.
I'll just put that up because you always love that comment whenever I go, we're like the freaking Winchesters running around out here. She's always like, we are like the Winchesters.
We are. When I was unpacking some stuff, we've got a cabinet in the library, and I said, hey, Joe, the holy water, the graveyard dirt, and the black salt are in the cabinet with the marble top. And I was like, does anybody else say that to their husband? Like, oh, just so you know where the graveyard dirt, the black salt, and the holy water are, they're over there.
It's like we've got the zombie apocalypse closet for like if stuff breaks out there, then we've got the Dogman werewolf drawer, you know what I'm saying, with all the blessed 10mm ammunition and all that. So I just had another one. Oh man, all over the place tonight. All right. Oh, here we go. This was an interesting comment. It's kind of a standalone comment, but Christopher Evans, who was talking about all the places he had been in the Middle East, he had said, I knew a gentleman there. He was an archaeologist and a geologist. And he told me that there were various reasons why we were in Afghanistan and the war was a front. So there you go. I just thought that was a good little standalone comment there. You know, there was in the Clinton emails, she was talking about wanting the tomb of like, was it Gilgamesh that she was looking for? Like the rejuvenation, like the resurrection chamber.
The resurrection chamber.
Yeah. And like the tomb of Gilgamesh.
And then when everybody was talking about that, it's like, she was just talking about getting a facial, you fools.
Yeah, exactly. I love all that the code words that they have to use. But yeah, was it I can't remember if it was the damn, let me see here. I'm probably going to end up on some watch list for Clinton emails.
Spoiler alert, you're already on a watch list, buddy.
All right. I think it was the tomb of Nimrod. Okay. No, it's the tomb of Gilgamesh, the resurrection chamber, and something about Nephilim DNA. There you go. All right. Let's see what we got.
You don't want to end up in a pond, do you?
Somebody just ended up in a pond recently? Are you talking about the Kennedy? What? What?
Oh.
What's that?
You didn't know.
I'll
tell you later.
We'll talk about it afterwards. Don't get us shadow banned. Usually that's me running off at the mouth and getting a shadow banned. So
I can't believe you didn't see that news story.
I did not see that. So.
Somebody was paddleboarding recently.
I did see that. Yeah, I did see that. Took a little spill.
What are the odds?
Cryptoville wants to talk about the metal building, aka barn, with all the security cams on the outside of it. Are you talking about the place at Station 16 or the one that supposedly is a leftover TVA equipment depot? Not sure which one you're talking about there.
Yeah, Jesse is such a dean.
Jesus Christ. I'm done with this damn show. I'm just turning my computer off and
Number
leaving. Goodbye,
one.
everybody. So
Number 1 MVP, baby boy.
mhm.
That means I'm an angel and you're Satan.
you're
So
you're
you're the vessel for Satan. There you go. Have at it.
All right. I'm having a hard time keeping up the chat tonight, man. You guys are out of.
I know. I'm trying to keep up.
You guys are out of control. Y'all are out of control.
Jones said Gilgamesh and Nephilim DNA. We have to search for stuff. We're not up to it yet. James Barker make a good suggestion. Y'all need some vials of blessed Vienna sausage juice.
We probably have it. Martin.
The coagulated sausage gel will get us through, is what it is. Yeah.
All right. So what do we got here? Lady Wolf is out. Lady, have a good night.
Good night, Lady Wolf.
Have you guys seen the Gilgamesh video?
Oh God.
No, but go ahead and lay it on me, man. I'm just putting in a bookmark for later. Gilgamesh video.
Oh God.
Oh God.
Oh jeez.
Another one of these nights when we don't get to bed till 3 or 4 in the morning.
I'm working on a trailer for our channel, so I'm probably not going to bed anytime soon. I'm working on a really cool trailer video for you guys to see.
And of course, she'd want to drink from the correct chalice about now. Choose wisely. I think he's talking about the blessed Vienna sausage juice, I think. So there you go. Thank you, Marcus. We appreciate that, my friend. So,
Susan C said, Jesse, most of us are probably on a watch list too. I think anytime you sign on to a Hellbent Holler, Hellbender chat, you just kind of leave your name at the door there for the FBI to collect.
Watch list 2 wants. We were on a watch list because we ordered some spicy t-shirts offline. And the guy who made the t-shirts, I guess, he was doing meme shirts about the Unabomber, Ted Kaczynski. And then I guess he just went, well, this is a funny joke. I think I'm going to go full on Unabomber myself. And the next thing you know, we got the FBI at our door.
Natural escalation.
Progression, yeah. And I'm just going, dude, we ordered like joke meme
cartoon. From meager t-shirt
salesman? T-shirts. I also have Killjozer as my name on Instagram instead of Killdozer. That doesn't mean I'm going to build a Killdozer, but I'm probably on the Killdozer list too. Do you know what I'm saying? So
yeah, you start taking some welding classes.
Yeah.
They'll get you.
That was the most surreal conversation ever. This all took place when like Antifa was like ripping up like the entire country. And there were all the like riot battles and everything like that. And I was going, dude, there's people setting like cities on fire right now. And you're here asking me about these meme t-shirts. I mean, Jesus.
You could be wearing a spicy t-shirt, man.
Hey, what are you wearing?
It's a lot easier to follow up on that.
Yeah, exactly. So,
it's a lot easier to harass you.
Some Bigfoot weirdos. All right.
Good times.
Good times. Hey, I'm almost catching up with the chat. I had to blast through a bunch of it. I probably missed some awesome stuff. So
he's a chat blaster.
Chat blaster. So all right, let's see.
Glitter Galaxy's asking, are you guys doing actual call-ins or open lines meaning
open lines meaning chat?
Meaning chat.
Yeah, just the chat.
Our viewers are a little too unhinged for us to just allow somebody to come on.
But we could do that
unvetted. You know, although we could
do that.
We could.
I don't know how to do that with StreamYard, but you probably know.
We could send people a link if they wanted to join in with us and come on, and we would just be side by side on there. They would get the link, and then we would add them to the stream, and they would be on there with us. So if that's something you wanted to do, we could do that. So something to think about.
All right. Hold on.
What are you doing?
How do you send the link? Do I have to do it from here?
Invite?
Yeah.
There's the link right there.
Oh, Jesus. I can't do
You just hit copy. Just go to invite. Juke there. And you can copy it from there. And then you would email it to somebody.
Oh, okay.
Or you could send it through Facebook Messenger.
I'm not logged in on Facebook on this computer, though.
Oh, yeah. Or I could.
I've turned into the boomer with a computer meme. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm that in real life now at this point.
You just smile
what does this button
uncomfortably
do?
at the camera for me.
What does this button do?
Ronnie Moore was asking, do you have t-shirts? We do have t-shirts. We don't sell them currently.
We don't have very many, and I don't know what we have.
Yeah, and then we are looking to maybe do hats coming up soon, but we don't do any merch. Really.
We need to start merch. We were thinking about trying to do merch. It's just a
logistics issue.
It's a logistics issue, and are there enough? And the other thing too is that we've discussed is that a lot of people just go like the cheapest route like possible for stuff. We've got a guy that makes our t-shirts, the ones that we wear, and they ain't cheap. You know?
They're
but he's a small business and he does it. And then our
Mhm.
hats, we had like D, you know,
The Destroyer.
the Destroyer Deucer's wife do us some, and she's a small business too. So we only support small businesses. That do
You know,
that
I was
stuff.
thinking about D today. I was thinking about what the division of D making Hellbent Holler embroidered stuff would be. Are you ready for it?
Mhm.
Destroyer, the Stitch Witch.
That's pretty good.
Do you like it?
Mark that down, D. You got a new
Destroyer,
nickname.
the Stitch Witch.
Marcus really is on freaking face, making all y'all look bad, quite honestly. Just quite honestly, making every single in this chat look bad. Thank you, Marcus. Will there be a Halloween special this year? We will probably.
I think we should.
We're thinking about doing something around
Devil's Night.
Around Devil's Night.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of our All Hallows Eve, and then that way you're out there at midnight. Although we might end up doing something on All Halloween into maybe, I don't know. We'll see. But yes, there probably will be, depending on where it's at, it might be live streamed or it might be done the night before. And then Jessie works her magic and cobbles together like a really good video in no amount of time whatsoever and puts it out. So
James Barker said we can do a voicemail line. Ooh, we should do a voicemail line. We actually have people who would actually call it now. We used to have a voicemail line where people could call in, but I'd like to do that. I'm so into coast to coast AM stuff. I like that call in and you're going to like hear people's voices over the phone kind of thing. It's wonderful. I don't know. That would be really cool. Julie Bug says if you did a call in, we'd be here till after midnight. Yeah, we're not doing that. We got tacos to eat. We have a time limit when it comes to this show. You could bring Kyle on if you want. Destroyer likes the title.
Far too feral to unleash live.
Yeah, we do have a feral chat. That's true.
I don't know. So Paul M had a good thing. Hats, mugs, etc. would be good. Clothing is way too much in logistics. Is there like any? I mean, we get people asking all the time, but there's one thing to ask for it, and there's nothing to actually do it. And most of our free cash goes into weird equipment. And I'm looking at just piles of cables right now and just realizing stuff that we have to work on. But anyway, so we might do that. If you guys think that's something that you're interested in, let me know. And you guys will, or let Jessie know. It doesn't matter. We'll let one of us know.
Oh, this is good here. Robert Randolph says, do you think a technology will come out soon that will allow more high quality Bigfoot / Dogman videos? I think technology, including AI, is going to make it more difficult to discern between what's real and what is computer generated because the AI is getting better and better exponentially right now.
And somebody had said that, well, AI could be a useful tool to clean up maybe fuzzy images and everything like that. Well, at the same token, now it's an interpretation. It's not the real thing. But I think, and that might be true. You know what I'm saying? I mean, at the end of the day, AI would be extrapolating what it thinks should be in that image based upon the other data that's in that image. So again, you're really not getting the real image. You're just getting an interpretation of it. But I do think that you're already seeing it right now, man. I mean, you're already seeing just like the weird AI computer generated photos on like Facebook and all that, TikTok. It's going to get to the point where, unless again, like we've talked about, unless you've got multiple camera angles and some context to it, stuff before then afterwards, but just like a 10-second clip with nothing before it, nothing afterwards. I don't believe any of it at this point. So.
Dewey said that he and the Stitch Witch were discussing
Caps yesterday.
So.
Howling Underdog Films. I've got an off-the-wall question. Actually, this ain't that off the wall. We've talked about this before a little bit, but let's talk about it now. Have you looked into CE5? And if so, have you heard of anyone attempting a CE5 session to see if they could get a response from Sasquatch?
This is something I discussed last week or the week before. I'm very interested in CE5. I have an interest in ritual magic and practice ritual magic. And CE5 is very akin to ritual magic. It's doing a prescribed. How do you describe it? A prescribed set of intentions and
ritualistic
processes.
actions, and you're following a prescribed. You're going into a meditative state
as a means to an end to get some sort of response from
all you're missing is
the other
is the pointy hat with the stars and the moons on it and the Gandalf staff and the robe, because it's basically you're summoning stuff.
And the orb.
You need an orb.
Don't be an orb denier. You know what happens to them.
Are they letting Stingray watch tonight? Yeah, here he is right here. Stingray's still an orb denier.
But I discussed this last week or the week before. I wonder if there is a protocol that somebody has kind of come up with for Sasquatch or Bigfoot. And I think that's something eventually I could craft together. If not, wouldn't that be kind of...
I don't like that.
I don't like that
because I think still it's something where you don't leave offerings to people. Go to you gift, and I go, no, you're basically leaving offerings for small g gods at that point. These are things that were probably worshipped as gods once upon a time, and we're now leaving offerings for them. So I mean, the sad part though is we're probably going to end up trying it though, even though it might have bad results. Actually, now that I keep thinking about it, we probably are going to try it at this point. So
now you're excited about it.
Now I'm excited. Well, we got to see what because again, we've got to see what the result would be for it.
Sasquatch 5.
People want coffee cups. We tried to do coffee cups through, where was that at? Teespring?
Yeah, they were
terrible, man.
I was embarrassed.
We were embarrassed. We had to kill the store because it was all like really cheap stuff. And
yeah, we just got to find suppliers for everything. Like I said, Dee's our Stitch Witch. My friend Jacob, he screen prints all of our t-shirts. They're on the high quality tri-blend t-shirts that are super soft. And the highest quality t-shirts. He hand screen prints every shirt that we do, and he supports his family doing it. So we know the people that are producing our stuff now. That's why it's so small, and it's going to cost a little more than the mass-produced Chinese-produced crap that a lot of other places have. We will have something that's going to support small businesses of people that we know and care about and believe in.
And if that means we wouldn't sell as much of it as we might otherwise,
that's okay.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Because here's the deal.
Because it's a higher quality product.
We do this stuff all the time. We still think the whole Hellbent Holler thing is really freaking cool. I mean, I wear a Hellbent Holler hat in public like every time we're out. It's something that we think is really cool, and we don't want to cheapen it. Because trust me, we try to avoid doing, every once in a while we get a little clickbaity, you know what I'm saying? You know, we do a little stuff just to try to get some mass appeal, but you'll never see me and Jesse both going like this, like and that means that the channel stays smaller, grows slower, but it's not cheesy. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we might do some.
We just get cheesy on the.
I just put this up because Joe Wiley, that's a legally binding statement. If you do win the Mega Millions, you will be hearing from our attorneys, and Joe Wiley will be.
You're in it now, Joe Wiley.
You're in it now, Joe Wiley. So.
See how wily you are when we come after you and your Mega Millions.
I won the lottery, and I would have kept it too, except for these kids with Hellbent Holler down in South Carolina came after me and took my winnings.
James Barker asks, "What long gun would you want in the woods with you?"
Long guns are a pain to carry. I mean, the most you'll ever see us carry is we have a shockwave, 12-gauge shockwave that we carry, because we don't stay on trails. We don't stay in fields. We're usually going through pretty thick brush. If we had to have a long gun, maybe like a 45-70 guide gun or something like that, or maybe a 12-gauge like semi-auto of some type, like magazine fed. But it's got to be short though, man. It's got to be. That's the payoff. A friend of ours does a lot of crazy paranormal exploration. You guys think that we're like kind of hardcore. This dude's like hardcore. He's like lowering himself into like caverns with like clotheslines and stuff like that, basically. He goes around with a long gun, and he needs to, considering where he goes to. But he's constantly talking about how it's just such a pain. It catches on everything. It's difficult to maneuver around, but probably a 45-70. So
Amanda Griffin, thank you very much. Small business means quality. I'd wear the crap out of a hat from D the Stitch Witch.
Yep.
Yeah. So I've got to get in touch with them. I think we're going to do a hat order, and it'll take a little while to produce, and we'll probably start off with that. And you'll be supporting the Stitch Witch in all of her magical endeavors.
And then Linda Muller said a winter knit hat would be cool.
The Stitch Witch actually sent us a sample
of a winter
hat, and it was really, really nice. But these are the logos are bright. They're clean.
Mm-hmm.
They look really good because we did get some samples from D the Stitch Witch of the embroidered. That just works, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Of the embroidered hats and the embroidered caps. So I think that we'll probably do that. And it seems like if there's enough interest here, then we'll go with it. And that's not going to be as difficult as t-shirts because we don't have to do multiple sizing situations. Mm-hmm. Although we could do a pre-order on shirts if we did that. And then I could just get that over to Jacob.
Yeah. But yeah, for that long gun thing, I mean, it's weird because we used to go out like 9mm with like hard cast ammunition. And then we got 10mm after something that happened. And then we had 12 gauge pumps, but we got the Shockwave just so that way I can keep it in my pack if I need to. It's just sticking out of the side and carry that at this point. Got the little laser aimer on it. So
Melody says, do you think some of these things could be holograms studying our reactions or deceiving us to go down the wrong path?
You know what? Some of them very well could be. Some of them affect the environment. They interact with the environment, but some of them are just seen and then they're gone and they're going, I don't know how it got out of here. Mm-hmm. It might be
that kind of thing would explain why you see a Sasquatch and then you see it and then it's gone. Maybe it's not the animal or the creature or the entity itself that has the capability of disappearing. The entity wasn't even there to begin with. Well, but then you have smells, you have interaction with the environment. I don't think a hologram could do those things.
Yes. So we I lost my train of thought. I saw something.
Sorry.
Okay. And then, all right. So John Keel used to talk about how a lot of the UFO activity that people report didn't make sense. And it was almost like it was done for show. People would report driving on a desert highway and then they come over a hill and there's a UFO broken down on the side of the road with aliens with wrenches working on it, trying to get it working once more. And that didn't just seem to make sense. It was almost like that was done on purpose. Maybe some of the cryptid stuff is done on purpose. Maybe some of these roadside crossings and some of these things where it just seems like it chose to show itself for a split second and then it was gone. Maybe that's the case. So Robert, y'all don't want to leave a gift for Sasquatch, but we'll do a ritual magic.
That's Joe and I are very different with what we do. So
I don't do either. And we'll probably do the CE5 for Sasquatch thing. That seems what it happens, but I'm not leaving offerings to these things. So nope, that is a nope. It's a hard nope for me.
Yeah. Joe and I are not in lockstep on a lot of stuff. Stephen Taylor's wore his shirt so much that he's asking for another shirt.
You know what? Stephen Taylor's the best damn advertising we've ever done for this channel. Do you know what I'm saying? Stephen Taylor went.
You know what? We're going to personally deliver your stuff, Stephen Taylor.
You walk up for your morning coffee and it'll just be on your porch. You'll be going.
We'll take that mug of your coffee you have, we'll throw it, break it, and give you a Hellbent Holler mug. How about that? This is an aggressive YouTube channel.
We are aggressive now. You know what I'm saying? So
when they show up at my house, we'll rip your shirt off, give you a Hellbent Holler shirt, put that on.
Have a high quality production, aggressive but high quality, very aggressive but high quality nonetheless.
You know, I've heard that about myself.
Yeah, you're aggressive but you're high quality.
Thanks.
All right, so here we go.
Sugi's asking if anybody's seen Dog Soldiers.
Dog Soldiers is awesome. So what did I miss here? Hold on. Why is what the flock saying people are rude?
What's happening? Stephen Taylor, do it.
Do it.
I'll be your Huckleberry.
Julie Bug wants to know if we have any new videos coming soon. Jesse's doing a kind of like an a trailer, an introduction to Hellbent Holler?
It's a channel.
What you're getting into?
Yeah, we're not supposed to. There is a thing on your page, on your channel, where it's like, oh, put a preview or a trailer for your channel here. And I've been putting the most recent video on there.
Okay.
So when somebody goes up there, they can see it. However, I'm going to put together kind of it's going to be more of like a highlight reel channel trailer. And that way, when you want to tell your friends about Hellbent Holler, you can just send them that trailer and it'll have pretty much, a good overview of what the channel is. So I'm working on that. I've got some LBL stuff from when we went back in February that I need to release because we actually found another abandoned tent. I need to release that because that's actually pretty interesting. I think those will be shorter videos. Those will be just little snippets of our time in LBL. So I have that. I have a couple of other things I want to do. So.
Hello, William Kennedy. Hologram like in the Mission Impossible movie. Very possible. They did whales in Dubai in public. I saw the whales swimming in the air in Dubai, and they were pretty crazy looking. So, yeah, I mean, and that's the stuff that's commercially out there right now. So anything that is beyond the reach of just average citizens has got to be like a million times better at this point. So, not today. Saban still having an existential crisis.
Not today, Saban. He's going to need like a Valium at some point at the end of this. Ghetto Yeti, it's not 3 tents. No, it's a second tent.
Second tent we found.
We've only found 2 abandoned tents in the LBL. So we found that one that is on Werewolf Experiments. And I think that's part 1 where we have that tent where we find it. Yeah.
The first one we thought it was maybe somebody out there poaching and had gone missing. And then the second one we found, it's pretty obvious that, and we had talked to people around the area that they had told us that after that tornado had hit, that some of the people that were displaced, they couldn't afford to fix their houses. Their houses were just in shambles at that point. So some of them were basically homeless, living in the outskirts of the LBL because they had nowhere else to go to. And the one tent we found that was like ripped up, and there's like all this stuff there. There's like broken dishes, and not like enamel camping dishes, like housewares.
Yeah.
And it looks like these people took what they had left and they went there, and then they left for whatever reason, what little they had left in the world, and went away at that point. So it was pretty sad when we got down to it. We were going to go in and do a night investigation into that area. And then we were getting ready to get out of the car, and like, it just kind of hit both of us that we were going, it really affected Jessie. She was going like, these people, something bad happened to these people. They had lost everything that they had owned. And of course, we're kind of building a narrative, but this is what it looked like, didn't it?
Yeah.
That they had lost everything they owned.
Even with the context of it.
And they'd ended up in this tent in just this very frightening, dark place. And then there's a really good chance that something
even worse
happened to them. And we just both just went, you know what? We're not going to just take advantage of this misery and go film this. We're going to go somewhere else. And it just felt like the right thing to do, didn't it? I mean, just to walk away from that spot.
We never went back there. We might go check it out, follow up on it when we go back to the LBL. Susan Christman goes, we want a video every Wednesday, get on it. Yeah. We were going to release where we went back to the dark corner, but it really not a lot happened. And I didn't want to release a video of us tromping through the woods after that last dark corner video, which was so freaking wild. So you guys are just going to have to take a small break there.
And you know what? I'd feel bad being in the chat with Marcus Ruiz right now. He'd make me feel like less of a person. Hey, Betty's hit the like button. Marcus had asked, I ordered both of Martin Grove's books from Amazon. Can't wait to get those. Does he typically share a table with you guys at conventions? Well, we don't do a lot of conventions. He was with us at Monster Fest.
He was.
And then we're going
to
have adjoining tables at the Tennessee Wildman thing. So we'll be there together.
Yep. So our tables are going to be next to each other. So if you do come out to the Tennessee Wildman and Cryptid Con, if you see Martin Groves, you're going to see us. If you see us, you're going to see Martin Groves because we're right next
Joined at the hip. Joined at the hip. So, and it's funny because we reached out to the organizers going, hey, can you put us next to Martin if you haven't done the table assignment yet? And he goes, he's already asked. Yes, you guys will be side by side. So, but he does, Marcus. Keep those books handy. If there's ever any way for us to do it, we'll see if we can twist his arm to get him to sign them for you one day. Grace W., did you guys ever find anything about the guy that went missing that got sent to the wilderness camp and his girlfriend was looking for?
No, that has not been resolved as far as I know, but I will follow up on that. I need to reach out to that girl again and kind of follow up on that. Now, I did an interview with her on the phone, and I did record that interview.
And we did ask them if we could record it.
Yeah. So I do have that interview recorded. God, that was how many years ago?
It was a while ago at this point.
3 years ago, maybe. I don't know.
She had taken a guy who was basically a cult deprogrammer, not a cult, but cult deprogrammer, because this kid that was in this wilderness therapy camp was over 18. They had him brainwashed to stay there, and there was some pretty shady stuff going on with like some occult activity. But they took this guy down there with them, and he's the one who stumbled across those people in the clearing with the robes on, with the kid like kneeling in the middle. And this guy just like snatches people away from like, I don't know, the Moonies and stuff like that, man. He's not prepared for stuff like this. It had a real bad effect on him. We talked to him, and then he ended up I think it was something he didn't want to deal with anymore. He went quiet on us. He just went completely silent. He unfriended us on Facebook, stopped answering messages, but he was very open about what he found, and he was all gung-ho that something had to be done, but they couldn't go through the authorities down there for various reasons. And I think that he just finally got disgusted with it because he couldn't do anything with it and we couldn't stop it. And he just kind of walked away from it. So,
yeah. Appalachian Aerial Discovery says, do you find these things to be flesh and blood creatures? I think that they are flesh and blood, but I don't think that it's as simple as saying that these are relic hominids or these are just apes or monkeys running through the woods. However, I do think that they are living, breathing creatures. I just think that there's something else and there's another element to them. There's another way that they interact with their environment. There's another way that they interact with other things as well, I think, such as UAPs. But I don't think that they're just a monkey running through the woods, but they are flesh and blood, if that makes sense.
I talked about this on I talked about this on both the interviews we did recently. Getting repetitive, you know what I'm saying? But
I need to shake it up.
I need to shake it up. I need to get wild with it. But I think that no matter what umbrella you're looking at, whether it's UAPs, Dogman, Bigfoot, paranormal, I don't think that there's just one phenomenon going on with any of those things. And I think that when you look at Bigfoot, I think that there are things that act like flesh and blood creatures out there. And that is reflected in some of the witness accounts that you hear. I came upon it in the woods. It didn't realize I was there. The wind was blowing in the opposite direction. It was eating berries. The wind changed. It caught my scent and it took off. It acted just like a flesh and blood creature, animal, man, whatever would. And then other people have accounts where they're going, it cloaked right in front of my eyes and I heard a voice in my head. And I think that that's what causes a lot of the different factions that don't get along in these groups, these paranormal groups, because somebody goes, what I saw was a monkey. And other people go, what I saw was definitely not a monkey. So they look at each other and go, well, you saw something that's not what I saw. You're lying. Well, it's not mutually exclusive things. Just because you had one type of encounter doesn't mean that somebody couldn't have a different type of encounter, but you still saw a big hairy thing in the woods. So I don't think that, and I think that's part of the reason why the discussion gets fractured on it. I think it's part of the reason why the people who look into this sort of stuff just start going down. They just pick one trail and they go down it and they exclude everything else. Okay. I think that it's very possible that somebody had an encounter with something that looked like a flesh and blood wood ape. I don't think it was a wood ape, but if it was a wood ape, it wasn't a wood ape from here. I don't think they're here all the time. Even the flesh and blood ones, unless they're like subterranean or something, I just don't think they're in the forests all the time. They're coming from somewhere. They're doing their thing here. They're going somewhere else. But I do think that a lot of stuff gets lumped in under Bigfoot that shouldn't be under Bigfoot. A lot of class B stuff. You're in the woods and you smell a terrible smell and you start hearing some screaming. Well, if you were in a house, you would think that you had like a poltergeist. But because you're in the woods, you assume that it's Bigfoot. So I think that a lot of the weird stuff that goes on that gets lumped into Bigfoot kind of muddies those Bigfoot waters, if that makes sense.
Oh, for sure.
So I think that if you just went, hey, I was in the woods and I had some weird stuff happen, don't immediately go, it was Bigfoot. Just go, I had some weird stuff happen. Here's what it was. Hard stop, because assigning it to Bigfoot, I think doesn't really, now you're looking for something. And if you go back and to investigate it, look for the weird stuff that happened. Don't look for Bigfoot.
Well,
look
think
for
about
the weird.
those people too who have those encounters who may be misidentifying that. They're not maybe as up on the possibilities of what other things it could be. Maybe they're only aware of something like Sasquatch or Bigfoot.
We think that's why a lot of Dogman reports, people are like, well, you're starting to get more Dogman reports nowadays. Is the activity getting more frequent? I think it is, but I also think that people are now, when they go, I saw a 7-foot tall black hairy thing in the woods that's not supposed to be there. It wasn't a bear. 15 years ago, people would just go, you saw a Sasquatch. Well, it looked more wolf-like. Well, some of them have muscles. And it was just left at that. So I think a lot of Dogman reports got filed under Bigfoot because that was the only possibility that people had. And those were the only people to report to, were like organized Bigfoot groups at that point. So
we've kind of been over this, but do y'all think aliens are really demons? I think that's a strong possibility. There's a lot of connections there. There's a lot of stuff that is, there's too many coincidences with reports, with possible origins, with descriptions, behaviors. I think it's a real possibility.
I still go back to the cover to the book Passport to Magonia, where there's the figure there with all the masks that has the fairy mask, the alien mask, and the demon mask. I still think that there's a very real possibility that it's all intertwined, and it's all of those things and none of those things when you get right down to it at that point. Maybe that's just how this phenomenon has presented itself, and it's updated, and it's updated itself with the evolution of like the human zeitgeist, basically. So it's just.
This is interesting here. Christopher Livens says, it tells us in the Bible that the angels ate and drank meals with Abraham and other people. So the angelic realm can be the physical realm as well.
All right. Paper Chaser, great seeing you guys on Calling All Beings. We touched upon this earlier, but time is always like a premium for us. Jesse's got some more time nowadays since she's between jobs and she's focusing solely on the channel and the investigations. But the stuff we do takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time. Field investigations take a lot of time for you to prepare to go out there for, even if it's, we're not talking about going into the Rockies in the middle of winter, but even going into a national forest in like the Southeast, we have to figure out where we're going to go to. We've got to figure out what the plan is. There's a certain amount of planning that takes place. Then equipment prep, the actual act of just going out there. And then we got to come back. We've got to break down the equipment, charge it, clean it, download it, review the footage, do everything. It's time consuming as all get out. Okay. And we're doing this every week. So it's time is like a premium. And we had said we were going to stop doing a lot of like shows. Not that we do a lot, but we were just going to kind of cut back to it because it's going to be open.
When he says shows, he means us going on podcasts,
stuff like that. And it's kind of frustrating when you go do this and they're just, they just want you there to tell you how great they are, or to just basically get upset that you don't share the same narrative that they do. So we signed up for Calling All Beings. And even then we were going, we got a show to do, and then we watched some of their show and I was going, these guys are kind of like right up the same alley as us. They take the subject seriously, but they still have fun with it. We had a ball on that show, man. You know what I'm saying?
We had a great
time. Ball on that show. We probably could have stayed on there another 2 or 3 hours.
I think we're definitely going to go back on there. My mother actually called me the next day and said, I watched that show again. That was so good. You guys really hit it off. And
DJ, the main guy, is actually moving to Georgia. Don't be surprised if you don't see him in a damn Hellbent Holler episode.
I think that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we've exchanged contact information, and when this guy gets out there, just that, and the same thing with the Appalachian Intelligence guys. That was as soon as they started telling me their theories on how they thought that certain spiritual, elemental, interdimensional forces had maybe always been prevalent and they were the gods of old, and that there were forces in the Appalachian. I'm listening to it. I'm going, good Lord, man, you guys are saying what we think, and you're saying it a hell of a lot better than I do.
And I gotta say, I feel like those 2 shows that we did this past week really brought me back to like having faith in these podcasts and other people in the field. It really brought that back for me. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so great, because we get a lot of people contacting us about being on their podcast. And the last few ones we've done, we've had issues. Whether the people who invited us on their podcast have no idea about any of the work that we do, which I get it. It's you got to be busy, but I'm not asking you to come on my channel if I don't know, if I've never seen one of your videos. So that's weird. Or
I think it's hilarious because they will go, oh, here's this pretty girl with blue hair that looks into Bigfoot. Let's have her on our show. And then they mostly get like the Alex Jones of cryptozoology on there. You're ranting, you're getting like worked up, you're making like weird stuff. And then they're just sitting there going,
oh no,
we're having some computer difficulties. We're going to have to finish the show early.
I like that one. I like that one that ran the disclaimer before I started.
Yeah, and you were like, nice disclaimer. You're going to need it.
You're going to need that one, Betty.
Marcus Aurelius, I think the cult stuff is more dangerous than anything out there. Yeah, and that's what we don't see that everywhere we go to. There's cult stuff going on in the LBO. There's cult stuff going on in that section of North Georgia. There's cult stuff going on in Corpsewood Manor that we know about. The area that we're operating in right now in the dark corner, there doesn't appear to be anything.
I don't think there is.
I don't think there is. But at the same token, anytime you get a human element, you have to really mix up your approach. You have to not stay on a schedule. You have to be unpredictable on when you're going up there. So it's a whole nother level of complexity at that point. Damn, I lost track of the chat when we were going off.
Not today. Saban is blowing people's minds in here, as usual. Paramedic talking about calling all beings. They're crazy, Matt. You're crazy. I bet they would take a shot of gorilla piss.
Who's he talking about?
To calling all beings.
Calling all beings was awesome. I mean, literally,
that was a lot
awesome.
Of fun.
It was literally awesome.
That was enjoyable because like I said, we could get past that surface part of things. We could start going in some weird directions and, going into some hypothesis and working out some theories and really having a good discussion that goes a little deeper than just the surface. And that's really what people want to listen to. I think everybody has heard me spout off the same. Yeah. Who are you and what do you do?
But those guys are they're hyper intelligent. You know what I'm saying? All of them are very, very intelligent. They're very well versed in their own particular fields. They ask great questions, but they also enjoy themselves with it. Okay. I mean, this is a dark topic sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And if you want to call it gallows humor or whatever, but at the end of the day, we take enjoyment out of doing stuff like this. You know what? Martin Groves is in the chat. Martin Groves, and I always just go, do you call it an encounter or the attack? How do you want to phrase it? Very traumatic, something that he still carries with him to this day. There are certain elements to this stuff that he enjoys. He enjoys like meeting people that have like encounters and talking to them. And, he enjoys like sharing his story for people that want to hear it because it does good and it prepares people for what might be out there. So even though that it was something traumatic, there are certain elements that he enjoys. And if you ever meet him in person, if you're at the Tennessee Wildman thing, warmest, most friendly person you ever met in your entire life. And he enjoys meeting the people that he's met because of this. He doesn't enjoy the original attack and it's traumatic for him, but there's little rays of light in it. And the Calling All Beings guys were like that. They took joy in the parts that you could take joy in, and they just didn't get so focused on the dark stuff. So
yeah. Yes. Mike A is going to be coming to the Tennessee Wildman.
And if you guys are coming, drop us a line at the email address below.
Yeah, that's gonna be so much fun. Hey, Julie Bug says, "Hey, just noticed you're in the right seat. You had my OCD at a high level on Friday. Why did we switch seats? What happened?"
I can't remember why we had to switch seats. We had to switch seats for something. And why did we? Now you've triggered her OCD because now she can't remember why we
had to switch seats.
We had to switch seats for
something. And we got into a fight because I have to sit on a series of pillows because I'm much smaller than Joe. So for us to be kind of the same size, I have to sit. I'm like Princess and the Pea right now. I'm sitting on a stack of pillows so that I kind of match up with him a little bit visually. So I had to move all of my pillows over there to
a big hunk of a man, a foot taller than her, so
to do the show. Bigfoot Society, welcome. How are you doing, sir? Make sure you check out Bigfoot Society's latest interview. It's really good. It's with a lady who is located in or outside of the Uwari, and she's having a lot of Bigfoot activity around her place. So check out Bigfoot Society and give that a listen. Some of y'all listened to it and emailed us about it immediately.
Yeah, exactly. Going, you guys need to get up to the Uwari. So
Appalachian Aerial Discovery says he's going to be there with a booth. Awesome, man! This is going to be a really cool convention. It's their first year doing this, but I think it's going to be awesome. Just the guest list alone is kind of like the outside thinkers of Sasquatchery. You know, you've got Ron Moorhead, you've got Scott Carpenter, you've got us there. You've got Martin Groves, who has had a Dogman experience and a Sasquatch experience all together.
Then weird experiences with might be a portal and
tons of crazy other experiences.
Barton's going to be there.
Barton's going to be there.
The godfather of like weird Bigfootery.
Yeah,
is there.
So you've got kind of all the weird people at this one. I think that's going to be awesome.
Actually, you know, Barton, Nunley, and Ron Moorhead together, like at an event,
they're going to be like Highlanders.
There's going to only be one.
There can only be
Bring
one.
Your sword, Barton.
You're going to need it.
You're going to need it. So
you know what? Ron Moorhead's going to come at him with like a gator tooth that he pulls off his hat. Just come at him with a gator tooth. Yeah, it's going to be great.
It's going to be awesome.
So, it's going to be a brawl at the Bigfoot Hootenanny.
We're going to go in for your speech, and we're going to come out, and like there's just going to be like wrecked furniture everywhere.
Yeah.
And people we're going to be like, "What the hell happened?" They're going to be like,
they're covered in sweat and blood.
Barton Nunley had a sword, and Ron Moorhead jabbed him with a croc tooth.
They're sweating, just staring at each other. Yeah.
Oh my Lord! All right. Anyway,
we just got worked up.
Now I'm worked up. So anyway,
Jesse's tiny but mighty. Thank you, Kim. Thank you. Joe Barker says Joe's tall so he can see Jesse in Walmart.
all right. E-Rev has got a good one. Sometimes I think cryptids are like a liaison to something else, visiting through them or for them. So basically that they would be, you talk about the Greys. The alien Greys are supposed to be biological robots that serve as like avatars for whatever intelligence is sending them at that point. Maybe cryptids could be as well. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's why they're not found, is because maybe they are not here all the time because they're sent here and they're disposable. You just send them here for whatever reason at that point. I always think about that remember The Matrix, the movie The Matrix. And I hate when people associate all of this stuff with movies, but some of it's pretty, you know, there's some correlation between it. But The Matrix, they talked about how like werewolves and ghosts and vampires were glitches in the Matrix, that they were supposed to be something else, but it was just bad data that caused this glitch. So what are you looking for?
I was just looking for something. Barton Nunley says, poor Ron doesn't stand a chance at this hootenanny. Oh, goodness. Grace W. said, Joe and Jesse, I'd like some merch that says Make America Hellbent again. We had a t-shirt that said Make Cryptozoology Dangerous Again. I'd love to do a run of those shirts.
Yeah.
I think that would be cool because that was kind of a tagline we had for a while there.
Here we go. 1DZ too many. Hey, I know this would put more on your plate, but do you think about doing a monthly email with highlights, upcoming events, links to the good stuff, and so forth? Jesse thought about doing just a daytime like debrief thing.
I was going to do kind of a daily show in the mornings where it'd be about 30 minutes where we kind of go over stuff, but we could do like an email thing. I'll look into that. It's a good idea.
That's a very good idea.
It's a
damn good idea.
Keep people in the loop. And I'll come up with a sporty name for it.
It's a damn fine idea. Damn fine.
Thank you, 1DZ too many. All right. Joe Parker asked, Joe, have you ever lost Jesse at Mardi Gras? We always worked Mardi Gras.
We always worked Mardi Gras.
You knew where I was.
Yeah, I knew exactly where she was. She was behind. And it's weird too because you've mentioned in the past that we both were bartending in French Quarter when we met. And it's weird because if you're not from New Orleans, you might just go, oh, they were bartenders. It's not like bartending at Applebee's. You know what I'm saying? So,
if everybody at Applebee's was on
serial killers
and a serial killer,
ex-French mercenaries and, disgraced, sons of like Danish nobility and just the crazy people you meet down there. And all of those categories are all people we knew down there. You know what I'm saying? So we weren't friends with all of them, especially the serial killer chick, but we knew people who, it's just weird. It's a whole nother world down there. You know what I'm saying? So a whole nother world down there, but never did Mardi Gras though. I mean, just never did really much with Mardi Gras.
I did. I mean, I used to go out for Mardi Gras. I had a blast during Mardi Gras before I started bartending on Mardi Gras. So
and it ruined it. So.
Then you have to bartend for it, and it's not fun. Oh, Drew's in here. Drew knows.
What's up, Drew?
Drew
knows. Drew was like my brother through all of that stuff. So Drew and I were
he's a survivor and a refugee.
Year after year after year. Mike A goes, New Orleans gave me a bad vibe when I was there. Beautiful city, but super shady people.
True.
It's because the darkness like seeps into people when they're there. And if you have people who are predisposed to any sort of malice or vice or anything, it's going to come out down there. So it's going to come out.
Drew said I never got a grow off either. Yeah, I used to get them off back when I managed that shop before I started bartending. That was a blast.
Guys, we're coming up on it. If y'all have got anything you want to say, anything you want us to address, this whole thing tonight was supposed to have no structure whatsoever, and I think we lived up to that. This has been a very
speaking of
show.
Bartending, last call, everybody.
Yeah, last call, everybody.
We're doing last call on questions, comments, concerns.
Like
Joe Parker, no, Rob S says, you ever think you met a vampire in New Orleans? Some psychic vampires.
But yeah. It's weird because New Orleans has got, and Drew can chime in on this, you meet some like weird just hucksters down there. Do you know what I'm saying? People that it's just hucksters, sleight of hand stuff. There are legit people down there that if you were somebody who maybe was born with some sort of psychic ability or anything like that, when I say psychic, that's not it. What's the word I'm looking for? Supernatural, paranormal ability, the abilities beyond a normal person.
That touched.
If you're touched by something, that's perfectly it. You end up in New Orleans. End up in New Orleans. So.
Yep, definitely. Missy Kavik says, just found your channel recently and subscribed. I had a couple of Sasquatch encounters when I lived in northern Michigan. You guys are great. Thank you, Missy. Appreciate it. Welcome to the circus. One DZ too many says, hey, another idea. How about a Hellbender convention?
As this channel grows a little bit, and what's cool is that, again, we have not gone clickbaity with this, although we need to do just like one super clickbaity video, just warn all of like the Hellbender crew before we do it. Just suck a bunch of people in, and then they just go, what the hell have we gotten ourselves into? It's like the gateway drug. You know what I'm saying? So, but anyway, the channel's grown at a maybe not the fastest rate, but the people we've got are all cool as hell.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And are all really into this. And it's a different type of environment than top 10 creepiest forest videos, revealed, that sort of stuff. That'll have like 1 million views.
This was the night we were going to die.
Yeah, but I mean, that'll get like 1 million views, but it's not a
quality.
Yeah, it's just not there. It just doesn't have it. This does, I think, because of the people we built up on Monday nights, and that how intense the conversation gets in the chat. Could you imagine having a Hellbender convention where it was just all of these people? So yeah, eventually we would love to do something like that if we could get people together for it. So
yeah, I think that's eventually going to happen because we can't just not do it, We just cannot. Arcane Discoveries 423 says, hello, Jesse and Joe. Just checking in. Sorry I missed y'all. That was an awesome show on the AI podcast. Hello and good night to everyone.
We got like intense on both of those shows. And usually sometimes people look at us and just because we're both pretty intense people, in case you haven't already figured that out. And they were like into it. They all seemed to love it. So it was great. Of course, that's what they probably said. It's not what they said when we got off. They're like, these people are crazy.
I don't worry about that.
Hey, Kevin Kirk from Kingsport, Tennessee. Love you guys. Thank you for that.
Bro.
I really appreciate that. Thank
Very
you.
Cool.
Thank you very much for that. We appreciate it. Because we've got some stuff in the works. We have got some things like projects that are jumping around right now. We still are wanting to upgrade the Psionics full color night vision. I'm basically waiting for that to go on sale.
Oh my God. Can you imagine if you get that Pro and we're going to go back and try Brown Mountain Lights again.
Yeah.
Can you imagine you get that Pro?
Yeah.
We go back to the Brown Mountain Lights and we get even better footage.
Well, we can use the.
Can we top ourselves?
That we've got some night vision stuff working on. And then I have got some additional sensor tech that we're trying to like hash out how we're going to use it at that point. But anyway,
Homeless Ryan, $4.99. Thank you. Maybe you should not be homeless anymore.
He's told us he's not homeless anymore. He's talked about that in the past.
Okay, good. I was like, please don't give us any money.
Yeah, it's just.
Appreciate your videos. Thank you.
I want to back up on that real quick.
Thank you, no longer homeless Ryan.
Thank you, no longer homeless Ryan. That's the other thing too, is that we appreciate anything that anybody ever gives us, and it goes towards the channel. It goes towards equipment. I've seen on people's channels going, here's like $20. That only leaves me $10 to the end of the month. But
no.
Please don't ever do that, man.
Don't
ever do that. Oh my God. No, absolutely not. No. It's just, don't ever do which please, you know what I'm saying?
Rob S says, please don't do surprise face on the thumbnail here. We have to do it right here. Let's get rid of this right here. You ready?
All right, so hold on. I can't even do that. So, although in one of your shorts that you did, the scene that it select a part of the video.
It does it automatically.
And it was just you going.
Yeah,
and I was like, that looks really clickbaity, and you were going, that's just what it chose.
I just can't change it. That was me reacting to when we heard that howling at the Laughing Beast thing. Yeah. And then when I heard the drumming, my face was like, I was like losing it.
Like it's an open-minded, no one fights, fun subjects, legends like Barton and Martin. We're just riding off their coattails at this point, aren't we? It's awesome. So, yeah, we don't really get into we had that thing in the beginning where somebody asked us a flat-out question, and that's just kind of become more funny than anything else.
Yeah.
But you're not ever going to see us like feuding with anybody. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't have the time for that. She doesn't have the time for that. And it's the other thing too is that a lot of times that happens because people have diametrically opposing ideas about what's going on. We don't know what the hell's going on. It's all theoretical at this point. And quite honestly, we're out there a lot. We live this stuff. True. Mm-hmm. And if we don't know what the hell's going on, I mean, everybody's got their theories, but nobody can prove anything at this point. Man.
You know what? Speak for yourself. I'm ready for a good old fashioned beef.
You want a beef? Bringing back the beef. So
bringing back the beef. We're beefing again.
Yeah. I don't think we're going to be at Monster Fest this time.
No, I don't think we're going to go to Monster Fest.
I don't think we'll be at Monster Fest. I don't think we are going to be there. We are getting. We're only going to go to where we were like kind of invited to. We don't really sell stuff, so getting like a table doesn't really work.
Yeah, out. And that's a long haul for us.
Yeah, so
we were really happy to be a part of the first one.
Yeah, just because it was kind of cool, but just generally we don't really sell stuff. We're not merchants, as you can tell. People will be like, they're just doing it for the money. What money are we doing it for? It's crazy. I would love to eventually just recoup what we spent on one thermal, monocular. That'd be like make my day. You know what I'm saying? So that would make my day.
Will you take me on a honeymoon?
So, but I don't think we'll be at this next one. So
Missy Kabik says your LBL series was awesome. You got to go back there at some point. We are going to go back there, but it's going to be a surprise when we go back there. Because of reasons. So, but we are going to go back there.
Arcane Discovery sent you a clip and some audio that came out of northeastern Tennessee. When you and Joe figure it out, let me know when you can.
I saw that. I'll show it to Joe.
Our boy Brian's in from the Down Under.
What's up, Brian? Barton Nunley, the first annual Highfalutin Hellbender Hootenanny.
Hootenanny came from when we were going to the Dogman conference in Paris.
Yeah, and Roger was going to come and fight Jody Cook. Yes. Okay. Yes. That was like, we were just becoming friends with Barton. And and we were just becoming friends with Barton. And I said something about there's going to be a fight. There's going to be a fight at the Dogman Hootenanny.
There's going to be a Hootenanny at the end. And it just
kind of throwdown. A throwdown.
Throwdown at the Hootenanny.
Throwdown at the Dogman Hootenanny. Yeah, because Roger was supposed to come and fight Jody Cook. Oh, it's great. Oh, God bless us, everyone.
The Nessie beef was real. That's the only real beef that we have here. That's
a good beef. Good beef. Oh, the Nessie beef? Yeah. F Nessie. Forget him. Oh, miss. Flippers off my freedom. You're right, Jason. Jesse versus Nessie. I'm going to make a poster of that, like a boxing poster.
You on one side and then the other one. So, yeah.
Marcus,
better late than never.
Marcus Aurelius for Jesse's belated honeymoon at the LBL Hilton.
Thank you. That's no lie. Here's the deal, guys. We drive like older vehicles. We
didn't have a wedding.
We didn't really have a wedding. And this is no exaggeration because you hear crazy stuff on like YouTube all the time. The people who have met us can back it up. This is pretty much just what we do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's a lot of our money goes towards the stuff you see on and I think that's part of the reason why we kind of backed away from a lot of the YouTube spheres, because you'll hear people talking about going in with their 7-man teams with the latest tech and everything like that. Well, where's it at? Why do we not see it? Well, we don't share that footage. Well, then why are you on here talking about it, man? You know, I mean, you're obviously wanting to be in front of a camera.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you see the stuff that we use in the field. I mean, we're not, God, I'd love a sponsor though, man. A sponsor would be awesome.
I want Harbor Freight.
Harbor Freight sponsor.
I'm going for Harbor Freight.
Well, you know what's going to happen is one of these people in the chat that have ever gone, if I hit the lottery, you know, I'm going to like set you guys up with Hellbent Holler. You know what I'm saying? We'll get a mobile command vehicle.
Okay.
You know, it'll just be awesome. So.
Oh, Lord. All right. We're coming up on time.
Coming up on the time, guys.
Honeymoon in the Bermuda Triangle. No. Too much. We don't like water. We're not into water, man.
Martin Grove's going to take us to Portlock, Alaska. Kind of a working honeymoon. That is one spot that I'd actually like to go.
Yeah, that would be
And
fun.
some people, like I think Alex Petticoff was up there not too long ago. In that area, he might have gone there.
I think he's got a follow-up coming out. That might be Dark Coast that's coming out. That's Alex. Alex is a cool dude. Yeah. Alex is a rad dude. Stingray 97, I got shotgun in the mobile
command unit. So, but all right, anyway, so you're going to see a channel video, like a channel commercial. Is that what it's called? A promo? What do you
trailer?
A trailer. Why I cannot remember that. A trailer. You're going to see a trailer coming up.
You're not one of the Hollywood media types.
Jesse's doing it, so it's going to be awesome because she's like the video editor extraordinaire now at this point. And so we got that coming out. We have got we've got a new possible investigation that might be coming out with a person who's experiencing some activity like right now.
Yeah.
That is kind of in the works. That may or may not happen.
Uh-huh.
Somebody might ask us about it down the road and I go, it fell through. Never came about. We've got that in the works. We've got a couple of things in the works. The big thing right now is that the reason why we're not taking the summer off is because there's so much going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
And we took this past weekend off because the heat index was dangerous and the equipment was all like the thermals weren't working because everything's like hot as heck.
Yeah. And the humidity also, our lenses get kind of.
But what's awesome is that we're afraid to take a weekend off because we're afraid of what we might miss right now.
Mm-hmm.
But we are also going to be doing some midweek stuff as well. And we are going to try to be as unpredictable as possible. And then you guys will find out about it after the fact.
Yeah.
But we've right now got 4 active spots going on right now?
Yeah.
4 active spots going on right
Shelly
now.
asked this question a couple of times. I'm going to answer it. Have you guys heard of the guy that received a Dogman puppy and raised it for several years?
I am familiar with that general story. And I guess he claims he raised it. And I guess he's very prolific on social media. I don't know anything.
I don't believe it. I'll tell you that. My personal feelings, I'm gonna say no. That's a no for me.
But now here's the deal. Here's where I'm gonna go out on this, and it's like this with all of this stuff. here's the people that I believe. The people that I believe walk up to you and go, I'm not crazy, but this happened to me. Okay. I saw this. I couldn't get my camera up in time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not crazy, but I know it sounds crazy.
Yeah.
This happened to me. Nobody believes me. I will listen to that person. Okay. I'm not going to disbelieve them, but that is no matter what it is, it's believable. Okay. Because they are just the way they approach it to you. If somebody was to go, hey, I found a Dogman puppy and I raised it. Well, may I see a photo of it? No, because I don't want evidence of him getting out. Then why are you telling me this? And why are you on social media telling you this? Okay. It's just like some of this YouTube stuff where you have all these grandiose claims.
That was also on the channel for the guy who called me a prostitute.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So
that also.
So, but anyway, I would think that if that happened to somebody, they would go, some self-awareness. They would go, I don't want word of this getting out because I don't want people to hunt my little Dogman puppy. Therefore, I'm never going to speak about it publicly.
But then you're online talking about it.
But then you're online talking about it. Doesn't make sense. None of that makes sense. It just, you have to approach the irrational in somewhat of a rational manner.
Yeah.
I don't disbelieve stuff, but I sometimes disbelieve the human actions that are involved in it.
Yeah.
So, and Grace gave us $5 for that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Grace.
All right, guys, we're going to call it a day. We love you guys. You guys are awesome.
This was a more enjoyable show than doing the topical one, although I want to do a topical one too.
We'll
but we've got to have this every week, I think. You agree with that?
Yeah. Yep. I hope you guys have a badass weekend. I want you guys to be productive, have fun, be safe, stay cool. It's insanely hot and humid out there. Try to stay cool. Have a good week. We'll see you guys next Monday at 7:30 Eastern. I'm going to put out a channel trailer this week, so we'll have that out. And hopefully we have a really, really, really cool investigation coming up and in the works that I think is going to blow you guys away.
I need a haircut. I'm starting to look like a televangelist.
You
Anyway,
do need a haircut.
Marcus Aurelius in at the last minute with $9.99 to cover the LBL Hilton mini bar tab.
Yes.
There we go.
Thank you guys so much. You guys have a great night. I'm gonna go make some tacos. So I'm gonna put you guys some music on the way out. You guys, thank you so much.
Real quick.
What?
If you go into the conference, email us.
Yeah. I'm leaving the email up down there. It's hellbentholler@gmail.com. Email us and let us know you're going. We're gonna start compiling a list of everybody that's going. And we hope to see you guys there. It's gonna be a freaking blast.
Okay. We appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.